Welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Hey, do you live somewhere that gets earthquakes? Suddenly the ground starts shaking, buildings might sway. It can get pretty crazy. Now, I don't live in a place where earthquakes happen. I've never felt one myself, but I've talked to people who have, and the way they describe it is really interesting. I've never heard of anything quite like an earthquake. Literally, it's like the earth shakes. You know, sometimes we lump earthquakes in with weather events like tornadoes and hurricanes, but earthquakes actually have nothing to do with the weather. Instead of the sky, earthquakes have to do with the ground, specifically underground. There are lots of crazy things happening under our feet. Do you want to learn about them today? Let's take a trip underground. Earthquakes happen because the Earth's outer shell, called the crust, is not one solid piece. Instead, it's broken up into giant puzzle pieces called tectonic plates. Can you say tectonic plates? These plates are always moving, though very slowly, sometimes only a few inches each year, which is about the same speed your fingernails grow. Even though they seem tiny, when two massive plates push, pull, or slide against each other, they build up energy over time. Think of it like this. Imagine pulling back a rubber band. The further back you pull that rubber band, the more it's gonna flick when you let it go, right? That's kind of what's happening with the tectonic plates under the earth. But here's actually maybe a better example. I want you to hook the fingers on both of your hands. I want you to hook them together. Can you do that? Now I want you to try to pull your fingers apart from each other. Try to pull your hands away from each other while you're hooking your fingers. So your fingers are touching, they're hooked up against each other, and you're trying to pull your hands away from each other. Now, I want you to slowly let your fingers start to slip until they finally release. Now, did you feel the way that both of your hands shot away from each other as soon as your fingers were not touching anymore? That's what an earthquake is. When the plates finally slip or move suddenly, the stored up energy gets released, shaking the ground above. The place underground where the slip begins is called the focus. Can you say the focus? And then the spot directly above on the surface is called the epicenter. Can you say epicenter? And the shaking travels out as waves. Some earthquakes are small and so weak that you barely notice them. Others can be so strong that they knock down buildings, or crack roads, or change an entire landscape. The strength of an earthquake is measured on something called the Richter scale, or the moment magnitude scale. A small quake might be a 2 or 3, while huge damaging earthquakes can measure 7, 8, or even higher. Earthquakes are most common near the edges of tectonic plates. The Ring of Fire, which circles the Pacific Ocean, is one of the most earthquake-prone areas in the world. So it includes countries like Japan, Chile, and yes, the United States, especially California and Alaska. In the US, California is famous for quakes because of the San Andreas Fault, where two plates slide past each other. And Alaska actually has even more quakes than California, though many of them happen far from big cities. The Earth is always changing, even if we don't see it. And when it shifts suddenly, we feel it as an earthquake. So, if you live somewhere that sometimes gets earthquakes, is there anything you can do to be prepared? Absolutely. First, you can practice what's called drop, cover, and hold on. That means if the ground starts shaking, you drop down to your hands and knees so that you don't fall. Then you get under something sturdy like a table or a desk to protect yourself from things that might fall. Then finally, you hold on until the shaking stops. Drop, cover, and hold on. Your parents are always trying to keep you safe, so you don't need to worry about earthquakes. But it sure is cool to learn about them. They happen because the plates under the Earth are always moving. The Earth is a living thing, and it's always changing. Usually it changes very slowly, but every once in a while, it changes all at once, and we call it an earthquake. Okay, let's have a quick quiz. What are the giant puzzle pieces of Earth's crust called? They're called tectonic plates. What's the spot on Earth's surface directly above the earthquake's focus? All right, so the focus is where the slip happens, and then above that on the ground where we are, what do we call that spot right above the focus? We call that the epicenter. And do you remember what U.S. state has the most earthquakes each year? It's not California. Yep, it's Alaska. Let's play true or false. True or false? Earthquakes are caused by bad weather. That is false. It actually has nothing to do with the weather. True or false? The San Andreas Fault is in California. That is true, and that's why California gets so many earthquakes. True or false? All earthquakes are so big you can feel them. That is false. A lot of earthquakes are so small that you don't feel them. Would you rather study earthquakes from above ground or get down to where the tectonic plates are and study them there? I think it would be really cool to be able to study the tectonic plates while you're looking at the tectonic plates. Ooh, that does sound really neat. Okay, let's play a quick round of What Am I? What am I? I'm something round. I'm where you live. And I'm the only place we know of that can support life. What am I? I am the Earth! So, why do earthquakes happen? It's because the Earth's crust is divided into tectonic plates that are always moving. When they get stuck and then suddenly slip, the ground shakes and energy spreads out as waves. Earthquakes remind us that the earth beneath our feet is alive with motion, even if we don't usually notice it. But sometimes it reminds us in a pretty crazy way. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out. So until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And for all the grown-ups listening, the Curious Kids Club is launching on November 1st. Yes, we finally have a date, so go to supportcuriouskids.com for more information. See you tomorrow.